Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the LegalShield family. I'm excited for you. It's my job today to show you how simple this system is. All you have to do is follow it. You know, I was once told that it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. And so I've been honored to have some success with this company by just learning from those who are already successful. You know, one of my first mentors said, you don't have to be great to start, you just have to start to become great. And the backbone of our business is our membership. We just offer a very unique and priceless service. And we know that you may want to go out and talk to your colleagues right away, your business partners, your coworkers, your family and friends, the people who you care about. So you may be thinking, okay, well, how do I do that? I just got started, not really sure. I hadn't even made it to my training class yet. Well, today we have a tool for you. It's called our LegalShield Flip Book. And I'm going to go through this flip book with you today. Just pretend like I'm actually having this conversation with a prospect. I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same thing real simply. Okay, so this is our LegalShield Flip Book here. We're going to go through it page by page, and by the time we end, you'll be able to go out and do the same thing today if you like, or even tomorrow after you've gone through it a few times. Okay, so this is the cover, obviously, of our LegalShield Flip Book. And so you're sitting down with your family member or your colleague, and you're excited because you're saying to them, look, I was just made aware of this service. I had no idea something like this existed. Or maybe you did, so you can say, look, I'd heard of it before, but no one really educated me on it, so I appreciate you allowing me to spend 15 minutes with you today to share the same information with you. Okay, so you just quickly share your story. Now, of course, depending on your prospect and who you're speaking with, that would determine which part of this flip book you'll have more emphasis on. So let's get started. Page 1 simply highlights what our services are all about. It says LegalShield, a unique service and priceless benefit. Now, I love this first line, so it's important that you read this first line. It says LegalShield gives you the ability to talk to an attorney on any matter without worrying about high hourly costs. That says a lot, and we found through market analysis that this is what people who are unaware of our services, this is what they want to hear. So it's important that we say this and not skip over it. Have you ever thought about picking up the phone and having a conversation with a lawyer without worrying about the hourly cost? Well, that answer is no. You know why? The justice system wasn't set up for that. You know, the real color of justice in America, or North America, has not been black or white, but green. And that's what you're saying here. For a flat monthly fee, you can access advice no matter how traumatic or trivial. That's important because a lot of folks think of lawyers and they think of, you know, child support, divorce, child custody, bankruptcy, huge situations. And yes, we'll assist with those situations as well. But it's the everyday situations, which is the reason why saying trivial means so much, okay? So this is what we do. We actually give peace of mind every day, every night, now, and forever. So we're not just marketing a legal plan, we're offering peace of mind. So as we turn to page 2, and our prospect, obviously, they're looking at the page. They see the family holding hands. We're establishing a relevance. Because again, remember, most folks have never used a lawyer before. They've never used an attorney before. So they may be thinking what I thought when I first heard of LegalShield. I'm thinking, well, I've never really used a lawyer before. Why should I start prepaying for one now that I may not use for another 28 years? That was my thinking. And so, but it's not whether you've used a lawyer, but whether you've needed to use a lawyer. That's the question. And we already know the answer. The answer is yes, but that prospect doesn't know that yet. And that's why this page is so relevant. So it says, have you ever? And we already know they're going to say yes with one of these situations. For an example, have you ever signed a contracted document? And they look befuddled, they look confused, like, well, I don't know. You know, hey, have you ever bought a house? Ever lived in an apartment? Ever bought a cell phone, signed any type of contracted document? I give them examples sometimes to help them to say, oh, yeah, oh, yes, of course I have. So I'm helping them to think of things that they have signed before. Have you ever been overcharged or treated unfairly? And of course, the answer is yes. And you know, many times I'm actually shaking my head like, hey, can you believe this? So I may give them an example as I'm sharing this as well, okay? Because again, the line itself may not explain enough about the everyday usage of our plan. So sometimes it's just good to know that prospect so you'll know to say that. Now, it's good to actually have a conversation, maybe a couple of minute conversation with your prospect if you don't know them prior to going into the presentation. That way you know they have family, you know they own a home, you know that they own their own business, or they have a job and where they work. So you know a little bit about them. That way, again, you can establish some relevance as you're going through our membership here, okay? Not only that, but known a victim of identity theft. Now, of course, We all know someone has been a victim of identity theft. The scary part about it is that some people are already victims and don't know about it. So we actually share that. I've been in a situation where you thought the advice of an attorney might be useful. I know we all have been in that situation. Am I right about that? So I'll say things like that because it gets the prospect to shake their head like, of course, yeah, I understand what you mean. So I guess in essence, what we're saying about this particular slide is that it's not a question of if people need our services, it's just a matter of when. And quite frankly, every single day, we run into situations where we could use this service. It's just that most folks are thinking about the obvious things. They aren't thinking about the less obvious things that they obviously could use this service on. Now, I know that you may be thinking, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what I could have used it on today. I promise you, you've been in a situation today with just the advice, if nothing else, just some direction, just to say, hey, look, I was wondering, what should I do in this situation? I mean, I don't know if your washing machine wasn't working properly today and you're thinking, man, is this still under warranty? What can I do? What should I do? It's the everyday situation that we would never think about lawyer first. I wouldn't have thought about lawyer first before having this service, but because now I've been aware of it for more than a decade, I can't live a day without thinking, you know what, I should probably get some advice. It's just forming this habit of saying, you know what, I've got a big brother behind me now. Well, that's LegalShield. It's that peace of mind on everyday situations that you're gonna run into, and you've already run into them. You've just never thought about using your lawyer. Now you will, because you don't have to think about the cost that's associated with it. So let's go to the next page. Now what this page is saying is that we already have over 2 million requests annually. That's saying that people are already using our services. We're not guessing. We're not looking for guinea pigs, because some people are thinking to themselves, I don't know if people really use this. No, you're saying, look, there are already 2 million requests annually, and here's what they're calling on. People are already calling on real estate issues. Why? We know they're dealing with purchase issues, refinance, foreclosure, landlord tenants. And look, I'll even say things like, look, foreclosure's been on an all-time high. And the challenge is that people are running from the banks because they don't know the language that the banks are using. Forbearance, mortgage modification, short sales. But the bottom line is we now have a lawyer that understands that language. They know what the banks are talking about even when you don't. You see, so it's just stepping out of the way, allowing your lawyers to assist you, again, giving you peace of mind from things we typically run from. And this is what we're saying to our prospects. We're saying, look, people are already calling on these issues, and we know these issues are prevalent today. The next line here says consumer finance, collections, warranties, guarantees, and other contracts. Now, the key here is if you use a service yourself, then of course you can actually infuse your own stories as you're presenting this flip book, which is very important, by the way, because at that point, a sale is nothing but a transfer of belief. But it's hard to transfer something that's not in you. And so it just becomes natural when you've used it and you become more enthusiastic about it. And so you say, oh my gosh, let me tell you about this situation. And what you'll find is that some folks may even stop you and say, oh man, I've dealt with that just last month. I really need this. And so then you don't have to spend a lot of time here. They're already telling you, man, I need this. And you can continue to go, well, guess what? That's just the tip of the iceberg. We got family law, divorce, child support, child custody, estate planning with will and living will. So you can actually just kind of breeze through it. They're telling you, like, man, this just makes sense. All right? So if they're stopping you and they're letting you know how they could have used this already, that's a positive. That's wonderful. Let them share or express how they see value already in the service. Don't stop them and say, well, listen, let me finish up. Allow them to do that. That's fine. And basically what we're saying, this is just a little bit. This is, the scope of what we cover, it's huge. And I would tell folks, if they're looking kind of with a straight face, like, I don't know if I could use this, I would actually carry with me the brochure that also comes in your Business in a Box. And this brochure, look, it looks just like the flip book, but in here in the back, it actually has 50 other reasons that people would call and can use our services for and have used our services for. So I can say, look, there's a plethora. There's several other things that they could use our services for. This is just a few things that people call our lawyers on. So these are everyday situations. It's the most amazing service I've ever seen. I just didn't know anything like this existed for that average person that's looking for peace of mind. It says, in fact, we give professional advice on all matters from the trivial to the traumatic, including pre-existing conditions. All right, so the next page that a prospect is looking at says how we help you when you call. All we're saying to the prospect here is like, look at all the things that the lawyers will do for you when you pick up the phone and give them a call. One is legal advice, unlimited issues. You get to pick up the phone and not worry about an hourly rate, and you get to have consultation with a lawyer. Now, mind you, most folks have never had this before in their life. Most folks have never used a lawyer, so they're thinking to themselves, well, that's something I haven't used before, so I don't need that. Well, how about letters and phone calls on your behalf? Well, nope, never done that before either. So it's important to say, can you imagine? Because you know that they haven't in the past. Okay, imagine doing this. So you have to break it down and make it relevant and say, look, can you imagine pick up the phone and having unlimited or conversations for an unlimited number of matters with a lawyer, not worrying about the hourly cost? For an example, I use the service because I bought a brand new truck and the truck didn't work after a few months. So I called LegalShield. LegalShield told me what my rights were and told me if they kept my truck for 3 days on that particular issue in that particular state, that they owed me a brand new truck under the lemon law. I wouldn't have known that. So see, I can just tell a quick story. Now people are thinking, man, I could have used it for that just last year, just last month. So it's important to use it yourself so that you have stories to share, okay? So not only will they write letters and make phone calls on your behalf if they deem that necessary, they'll also review contracts and documents up to 10 pages each. So I just quickly kind of share with the prospect some of the things that the lawyers can do when you make that phone call or when you need them. They'll prepare a last will and testament. Did you know that most folks don't have a last will and testament? And most folks think about the cost. Well, listen, LegalShield's taken away the number one excuse, which is cost. They actually provide this for you at no additional cost. And so I typically say that. I normally don't say free because people just feel like free is too good to be true. So I say at no additional cost. So they also have traffic-related issues. And again, if you know your prospects, always great to speak to that particular prospect for their needs. So if I already know they have teenage drivers, I may say, look, you know, traffic-related issues. Isn't this amazing for your teenage drivers? You don't have to worry about them perhaps getting points on their license so their insurance will go up. Now, you don't fix tickets, but isn't it amazing to have a lawyer that can give you the proper advice or even representation in some cases to help you out with your moving traffic violations? Now, I have a lot of stories that I would share there because I've used the services so many times just on the moving traffic violations alone. I also share at that particular place that, look, every lawyer doesn't know every area of law, like every doctor doesn't know every area of medicine. So isn't it wonderful that when I pick up the phone and give them a call, and when you pick up the phone and give them a call, you're going to get a lawyer that has experience in that area of law. So that's the power of having access to law firms, not just a lawyer. Okay, so you got trial defense help there because people suing people for anything nowadays, IRS, audit, legal help, you know, online legal forms. You know, some companies that just provide online legal forms and that's it, that's their product. We just give you that as a part of our services. Again, huge. Now look at this one, 25% member discount. Before I even get into that, let me just say this, that most of the issues, 90% of the issues that folks call their LegalShield provider firms on are covered at 100%. But it's that 10%, maybe those traumatic situations we talked about earlier, like divorce, child custody, bankruptcy. You know, who knows how much time that's going to require from our lawyers. So with that, you get a discount. And typically, you can't find a lawyer with a sale sign outside of their office. You can't go to your retail establishment and see a lawyer on the shelf on sale. So this is huge to get a discount off of their normal hourly rates. Okay, so that's what the discount is. I love the discount because I like to save money on everything that I do. This one is extremely powerful, so I typically spend a little bit of extra time on it because it's very unique. It's never existed before LegalShield. 24/7 emergency access for your covered situations here with your LegalShield plan. Huge. Why is that important? Because most lawyers, you can't reach at 3 o'clock in the morning, even if you're wealthy. Your lawyer may have turned off their phone. How do you gain access to your lawyer? Well, with LegalShield, you have access 24 hours a day. You find yourself in a situation being questioned, detained, or arrested, you have access 24 hours a day. Huge. And I personally had to use a service with this area, and it just meant a lot to me. And when I share that story, you can see people tearing up because folks fall into situations they can't imagine. You know why? Because bad things happen to good people too. It's important that we share that because we don't want people to think this is for bad people to do worse things. We're saying these are everyday situations where you now gain access to your peace of mind through our LegalShield membership. Again, this is conversational. I'm training right now, so it's a little different. But if you're doing this presentation, again, this is dialogue that you're having. Don't make it a monologue where you're doing all the talking. And so you simply say, look, let's turn the tables quickly because I've talked about a lot. Let's say you are my attorney. how much would you charge me for these services that I just went over? And this is just some of it. I've got more. But just for this alone, how much would you charge me? Forget the $200 an hour, $100 an hour, whatever you charge as a lawyer. Just add it all up, and I'll pay you one fee at the end of the month. How much would that be? And let them answer. Maybe they'll say 200, maybe they'll say 2,000. People say all different things, but they'll always say more than what our plan is, all right? Because they know at $200 an hour is what the average lawyer may charge them in their area. So again, I'll let them answer. If they're quiet, I say, well, just guess. There's no right or wrong answer, and I'll let them guess. By the way, it's a little asterisk here. It says review the membership brochure. And that for your selected area. And that's important. That's on us as the associate to make sure we give them a brochure so they can really read through it and understand all the benefits, okay, of their membership. So that's going to be on us as the member or as the associate to do that for our prospective members. So now you have to transition into this next slide that we're going into, which is the identity theft shield that we offer. And so the easiest way to transition is to bring them back to the benefit that we started with, which is peace of mind. Remember, the benefit is not actually a legal plan. That's the attribute. What we're talking about is a benefit, which is the peace of mind. It's not having to worry anymore, okay, every day, every night, okay, now and forever. Remember, that's the benefit. So we bring them back and say, now remember we talked about peace of mind, and they said, yeah. So listen, to complete that peace of mind, what LegalShield has done is we've offered an additional service because we found that identity theft is the #1 consumer complaint category for 11 years in a row. And so to complete that peace of mind, we've added on what we call the identity theft shield. Are you confident that your identity is secure? Well, most folks aren't. You know, unfortunately, there's some 9-year-olds who are victims right now of identity theft and may not know it until they're 21 years old or what have you. So I explain that to them, okay? And so look, it says right here, it's not just about credit. I mean, think about this: medical, cyber, email, phishing, social media. So you could actually run through some of these things because most folks, when they hear identity theft, they immediately think, oh, finances, when that's only 20-something% of the identity theft situations that take place. So you want to share with them that there are other situations that take place that most folks don't even think of. So now this prospect's thinking, yeah, of course, you know, I mail things out. Yes, I have a social security number. Yes, I have children. Yes, so they're thinking about other things that they probably could have potentially put themselves in harm's way, okay, in terms of identity theft. Now we have to transition into, look, here's what we do. And so we simply go to the next page here, and this says at the top, Identity Theft Shield, Crow, Inc. And it's important, obviously, that we mention Crow because they are the leading risk management company in the world. We'll talk a little bit more about their credibility and what they bring to the table on the next page, so I wouldn't spend a lot of time on that, but would talk about them being the leading risk management company, them being a company that has a lot of credibility with them, just like LegalShield does. Been around for a long time, and they're experts at what they do. And so it says the membership covers all of the expected benefits. And of course, if you have an identity theft product, you want to make sure you have credit monitoring with activity alerts. What does this mean to the prospect that you're speaking with that perhaps have never had this before? Well, it just means that they don't have to wait years to find out if something happens. You know, the power behind having activity alerts is that if something happens, you want to know about it. You don't want to wait 5 years from now and say, look, I had no idea. Well, our product offers activity alerts, credit report with score analysis, credit report consultation, consultation to help prevent identity theft. These are all important benefits that we now offer this prospect that we're speaking with. But here's where you really show emphasis. It says plus identity restoration services. This is what separates us. And so it's important that we emphasize this to the prospect because they need to know that most companies don't do any restoration, okay? But we do. We actually have private investigators, again, experts that will go in and help to restore that identity, our fraud alerts, safeguard for minors option, which is huge, and combined with the legal plan creates a complete coverage. Again, spend time on this last bullet point here because you want them to realize that this is what separates us. We have the legal plan plus an identity theft shield, and no one else offers that. Look, most folks that have an identity theft situation will find themselves in a legal situation as well. So if they need access to a lawyer for some consultation or advice because they have an identity theft situation, they have the LegalShield plan. So we have the best of both worlds, an umbrella of protection around their family, and let them know that. And again, use the word family if you know they have a family. Don't just keep saying you. Say, look, around you and your family, because anyone has a family like myself, they want to protect that family. So now they understand the identity theft part of our services and how much peace of mind they get when these services are combined with our legal plan. It's time to go to the next slide, which I love. This slide is ingenious. And it says here, LegalShield puts professionals to work to provide the protection you deserve. Why is that important? It's because they put professionals to work. What does that mean? That for most of our law firms, we're their biggest client or their number one client. What does that say? It says quality control to the highest standards. Why? Because when you're the number one client, they want to make sure that they offer the best services possible. This also says that, look, they're monitored by LegalShield. Look, you have a problem with a lawyer, let's say, okay, and you're not a part of LegalShield. What do you go to that lawyer and complain, or maybe the American Bar Association? How long does that process take? But here there's checks and balances. I love this because our lawyers get report cards, and so we actually are monitored by LegalShield. So if you have a challenge, they can actually call LegalShield, and LegalShield will check into that situation for our members. Powerful there, okay? And it's good for that prospect to understand that this is the reason why our company unequivocally becomes better every single year. It's because we have these dedicated provider law firms and they're monitored, okay? Prepaid and ready to advise. That means that, look, they're ready to pick up the phone. You've already prepaid for them, okay? And so it's powerful when you have access to law firms, not just a lawyer. Be careful. Don't just say you have access to an attorney or a lawyer, because people will say, oh, I have a lawyer. I am a lawyer. My father's a lawyer. But again, if my father was a doctor, I wouldn't cancel my health care. So you want to make sure we talk about law firms or attorneys, okay? Then we talk about Kroll Inc., world's leading risk consulting firm, Fortune 500 clientele, prepaid and ready to use. This is important because, again, you may be sitting down with someone at your local coffee shop or perhaps for lunch at your job, and you want them to see that this is much bigger than just this lunchroom or this coffee shop. We're talking about a company that serves Fortune 500 clientele, two 30-year-old plus powerhouse companies with major strength, major credibility. And so that's important because you may be thinking, okay, I don't understand. How can I get this? This is what the prospects are thinking typically. How can I get this if they're typically serving Fortune 500 clientele, and these are major law firms we're talking about? How in the world can little old me, gain access to them? Well, it's not you or I, but it's us together. It's this group buying power. When I tell you how much this is, well, yes, it's a limited amount for most people, but it's all of it added up. That's group buying power. So with that group buying power, now we can afford access to a company that normally only serves Fortune 500 clientele. Now we can afford access to major law firms that typically would only help folks that are wealthy, big corporations. So this is why this works so well. And it says here, LegalShield's customer service professionals ensure our members get the service they deserve. So you get the service you deserve that typically only big corporations and wealthy people could afford. So now that we've talked about the services that we provide, it's important now that we go back to what the prospect has shared what they saw as valuable. So I would say something like, well, listen, remember with the legal plan, you said that you would charge me $500 a month if you were my lawyer. And they said, well, yes. Well, now that I've added on the identity theft shield, how much would you charge me now for me to have access to your private investigators or your professionals to monitor my identity and issue alerts and help me out with the protection of identity theft and even go in and restore it? How much would you charge me for both the services combined now? And so now they have to give you an amount for that before you flip the page, okay? Don't flip the page first because it's going to say the amount. And so you actually ask them, how much would you charge me? And they'd say, well, now it would be, and they'd increase it, of course. So perhaps it was $500 before, as an example. So now maybe they say $600 a month. And you say, sure, that'd be a great value. You and I both agree with that. But it probably wouldn't be a great budget for the average person. That's why LegalShield made both of these services combined for only $35.95 per month. Now there's an asterisk there just so you know, and I'm training here, so I want you guys to get this. It says membership costs may vary based on the plan that's selected. And so I think it's important right here to share with them that this cost here is actually broken up into 3 components because you want to offer a service that best fits your prospect. Okay, you don't want to offer a plan that they can't afford because you want them to keep this. Because as an associate, it's not just about the upfront commission you make by offering such a wonderful service. It's about the long-term residual income you're going to make as well. And so you want to let them know, hey, this is broken up into 3 components. Real simply, the legal plan that we went over, and the legal plan includes a trial defense supplement and then the identity theft shield. Okay, so either way, it's about $1 a day. And so at that point, they get to say, well, I'm really interested in identity theft. I've had issues all my life with it, or, because my father has the same name as myself, or perhaps they say to you, hey, this legal plan just makes sense. I could have used this yesterday. Or in most cases, folks are going to say, that sounds great, $35.95 per month. Are you serious? Because they already said it was $500 a month if they were your lawyer. And so it's $35.95 a month. Can you believe that? Only $1 a day, and you have access to all the services I just went over. And this is my closing comment here. I'd say, listen, do you see the value of protecting your family for $1 a day? Or don't you see the value in having these services for only $1 a day? See, the only response to that is, sure, I see the value of protecting my family for $1 a day, or nope, quite honestly, my family's not worth $1 a day, right? So there's only one of 2 responses they could give you. So the question is, hey, you see the value of protecting yourself for $1 a day, don't you? And they say, well, yeah, that just makes sense. I say, great, I did too. And I was so excited when I took advantage of it, like I'm sure you are now. And all we have to do is simply fill out this application I have here, and your payment options are going to be bank draft, debit card, or credit card. And the way this application works, see, I immediately go into the application. I'm assuming the sale because they've already said, yes, I see the value for $1 a day. You don't wait for them to say, yes, I would like a LegalShield membership today. Can you provide that for me? That's probably not going to happen, okay? But they'll say, sure, I see the value for $1 a day. Well, great. We're going to actually issue what we call a membership kit. I'm going to give you a brochure today, which is going to have your temporary membership cards in it. And what we need to do is know where to send your formal membership kit, okay, and information. And so here we're just going to ask what your address is so we can send that to you with name. And so I'll either start filling out for them, okay, and of course they have to sign, or I'll just turn it their way and give them the pen, put it in their hand, and tell them what to start filling out. I typically don't start with social just because some folks have an issue with giving out their social. And if they give me that objection, I'll say, listen, you'll never have to worry about that again because now you have our identity theft shield that will help you out if someone does, for whatever reason, use your Social Security without your permission. And so now you go right back into it. Right? And so we simply fill out this application. It's a real simple application. If you have any questions on that, make sure you get with your sponsor or any of the experts here with LegalShield, and they'll be happy to help you out. So you've just accomplished going through the flip book, the first part of the flip book presentation, and signing up your first membership. Congratulations. I know that once you do this over and over and over again, you'll become much better at it. And what I typically do here, because we took a little break, and they fill out the application. I never go through the whole flip book because I don't want them to say at the end that they're not interested in the opportunity, so let me wait on the membership as well. The membership stands alone outside of the opportunity. The opportunity is not for everybody, but the membership is. And so I always stop in the middle and offer the membership. So once our new member finishes filling out the application, I would share with them that there is an opportunity. And the way to do that is just to simply say, look, now that you're worry-free and you have peace of mind, do you know anybody else who has children or has had their identity compromised? Maybe they're self-employed or a business owner, needs to prepare their last will and testament or update it. I'm going to ask you a question right now, and this is what I would say to the prospect. I'm going to ask you a question that I actually already know the answer to. Our company's done some market research, and through this analysis, we found that those who have been interested in our product without even using it, 70% of those folks have said they'll refer it to other people. For 10 more minutes, I'd love to share with you how you can go out and refer this to other people, and LegalShield will actually compensate you what 70% of people said they do for free. So now it's time to get into the money. And of course, I get excited about this because it was happened for my family through my tenure here with LegalShield. And so I think you should get excited as well. Even if you're just starting out, obviously, and haven't made a lot of money, you should be enthusiastic when we talk about the potential of what can happen for you and perhaps this new associate. And so again, while we go through the compensation part, I think it's important that you show some enthusiasm, some excitement about this light at the end of your financial tunnel brightening. And so now, of course, they've told you, yes, I'd like to spend about 10 more minutes finding out how I can get paid for referring this incredible service. And so the first slide here says, established company, unique business model. And so no one wants to be involved with a company that's here today and gone tomorrow. You may be speaking with a professional that spent their lifetime building up credibility with their name. And one wrong decision can take all that credibility away. So it's extremely important to talk about the credibility of our opportunity. First of all, we established in 1972, so we're not a startup company. And so what you're saying is that, look, we're a rock solid company. We're looking for real people that like to participate in this real opportunity. 2.1 million requests for legal assistance last year. And so again, we're not wondering if this is something that people need. We're already receiving requests, millions every single year. Next bullet point says 1.4 million memberships across USA and Canada. What is this saying? It's saying that, look, we already have 1.4 million customers. And really, this is just saying the memberships alone, not including the families. We added the families that are protected under these 1.4 memberships. That could be, 4 million people actually protected under our LegalShield membership. Owned by a New York-based equity group. Our LegalShield company is owned by a company that actually manages about $3 billion worth of assets. So again, just shows credibility with our company. Proprietary system of provider law firms covering 49 states and 4 provinces in Canada. Just says one, that we stretch all across North America, shows credibility there. Number 2, proprietary system. No one else is doing what we're doing. No one else even has a closed network of law firms across North America. What I always say here is that, look, we may have some competitors, but no competition. We're the only ones doing what we're doing in this industry. So we're excited about that. We're leveling the legal playing field for the first time in North America, offering a high-quality, cost-effective legal and identity theft service. Now, you've already touched on this, obviously, during the membership portion, but it's just always good to reiterate this because now we're talking about them going out and offering it to the people who they care and they love. And, of course, they want to make sure that they're sharing with folks. This is a quality service. So the next slide talks about the legal revolution. And, indeed, we are a part of a legal revolution. We realize that we are leveling the legal playing field for the first time in North America. People have never been able to gain access to the justice system this way. And because we're able to go out and make such a huge difference, we get to make a living at the exact same time. It says, why LegalShield? Why would somebody join LegalShield? So what we do at this time is we actually share with folks that, look, people are looking for extra income. Would you agree with that? Of course they're going to say yes, because everyone's looking for extra income nowadays. But most people don't want a second and a third job. People want extra income without having an additional boss. And here they can have that because there are no bosses, just coaches to help them out. You also want to share with them that there's more time leverage here. Again, most folks are used to trading time for money. And so I go to work, I get paid. I don't go to work, I don't get paid. That's the way I was when I worked at the mall. But here, I actually have time freedom. So I could be at the football field, in the stands, watching my son play football and still earn income while I'm in the stands, more than I used to make, actually, while I was at work. So that's time freedom because you have both the time and the money. Don't you know people, this is what I say to folks, don't you know people that have a lot of time but no money, or people that have a lot of money and no time? And they say, well, sure. Well, here you get to have them both, and that gives us freedom. Why now? Why right now? Why would you join LegalShield now? Well, the market potential is huge. I mean, just think about how many people take advantage of a legal service right now. Like nobody, right? But everybody will need to at some point. It's not if, it's just when. People come back to me all the time saying, hey, Darnell, you still doing that legal thing? That's what my friends call it. And I say, yeah, well, I need the service because it's not if, it's just when. So huge market potential. Customer need. Of course, it's a huge need, and if you can find a void and fill it, you can become wealthy. So we have a huge customer need right now, and folks can't afford it anywhere else. They can't afford $200 an hour for a lawyer, so they come to us, and they're able to afford that because of the dollar a day. Economic environment. Again, these are just simple things that really the prospect is probably already aware of. People are aware that we're in a time where people are not too happy about economic situations, most people. And so these are things that you're just really confirming what they already know. Industry in transition. We realize that we're in an industry that is in transition. I know lawyers personally. I know folks with PhDs, honestly, who are still looking for extra income. So lawyers, they don't want to put commercials on TV to try to, get their clients. They went to law school to practice law. Unfortunately, most of them don't even have clients right now. But LegalShield, we're able to stand in the middle of the clients who need the lawyers and the lawyers who need clients and put them together. And that's why there's such a great opportunity. Okay, so we just talk about that real briefly. You can actually spend just a minute or so on this slide because, again, people are aware of these situations. We're just confirming what they already know. Here's the next slide, affordable one-time investment. Now, be careful with your energy on this slide because some people are likely to say, now, it is $149 to join, as if there's a bad thing about a $149 investment. That's a great thing. People spend $149 on things that depreciate or that perhaps they don't even fit anymore that's in their closet. So here we're talking about a one-time $149 enrollment fee or investment, and I would let them know that. I would let them know, look, can you believe this is only, and it says that, by the way, only. This is only $149 to start your own business. And I tell them my own personal story. Maybe you have your own story. Maybe you own a business. Maybe you know someone that owns a business, and you know how much they spent or invested to start that business. And so I would tell those stories. I tell folks how much it takes to start your traditional business because I have friends that are traditional business owners, and many of them have spent six figures. So here, only $149. I know you're thinking there can't be a lot of opportunity for only $149. Well, let me show you what you get for your $149. And so your business in a box associate kit, which you'll have a bunch of tools and things in there necessary to succeed and to launch your business, okay? A comprehensive training program. This is what I tell people. You're probably just like me. I believe I can do anything if I'm taught how to do it by someone who's already done it. And people say, sure, yeah, I can believe, I can do something if you've done it, if you're willing to show me how to do it. And that's what this training program is all about. You see, in most businesses, especially a traditional business, people are afraid to teach someone coming up in their same industry how to be successful because they can take their clients or business from them. Here, you'll see that we actually get paid the more people we help to succeed. And so there's a training program of those willing to teach you how to succeed. They'll teach you mistakes so you can avoid some of those pitfalls. They'll teach you their success so you don't have to worry about trying to figure anything out. You can simply duplicate that. And this is what I say to the prospects, okay, so they understand you don't have to start this business and have already had business success, sales experience. You're great at speaking with people. I didn't have any of the above, okay? But the bottom line is I realized if I went to this training program, participated with this training program, that there were people there willing to show me exactly what to do. Support of your sponsor and team, huge value right here. Because you're in business for yourself now, but not by yourself. Now, I would tell that new prospect, look, when you decide to join, you're going to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You'll have a team of people willing to support you. And it's something about the culture. It's something about being in an environment of like-minded people, progressive people, forward-moving and thinking people, people who want more out of life, and you're with them. Your attitude changes. So you get more of a benefit than just the commission when you refer these services. You actually become a better person. And so you have a support team of people willing to show you how to be successful. I don't know if I'd had the success that I'm blessed to have today if it wasn't for a group of people that I was able to learn from, a multitude of voices, because not everybody relates to everybody. So it's important to have several people who are willing to teach you and show you how to be successful. You have that here, and it says that. Online access to your office. Some people are aggressive, and maybe you're getting started right now here while we're at this coffee shop, and you're saying, look, Darnell, this sounds good, but look, I'm ready right now. I'm ready to get started. Show me what I need to do first. There's an online tutorial willing to teach you exactly what to do and how to do it. Today, you can actually go online and start that up. And that's important because, again, perhaps they're not going to wait for the training class. They want to know right now, what do I need to do? I can send you to a website. We can start that training. So online, that's important, especially if someone has a sponsor or someone who introduces them in their long distance. You may have relatives out of state. Let's say we're on the East Coast and you have someone on the West Coast, or maybe even off the mainland in Hawaii. Guess what? You can introduce them. They can go online and start training right away without you even being there in their local marketplace. That's the power behind this training program. You also have a support center. So it's not just about me. If I introduce someone and they have questions and can't reach me because let's say I'm in the air or I'm at my son's football game, guess what? They have access to an associate support center. They can pick up the phone and call and ask their questions and get answers to their questions as well. So huge opportunity there. And then the benefits plan membership. I love this. I save more money than I actually spend on my legal membership every single month. So there's huge benefits here on perhaps you have a cell phone and there's certain benefits that come along with your cell phone bill. Perhaps you go to places like Office Depot, or maybe you use UPS mailing. There's discounts and benefits on all these different areas that, too many to name right now, but you're gonna get that in your kit. This is what I tell the folks. You're gonna get that in your kit. Now, I have a personal story that I share with my benefits that I've used. Now, if you have it already, then great, use that. And so I'm able to tell them, look, just on my cell phones alone, my wife and I and one of my sons, we have the same carrier. And we save more on just the phone bill alone every single month than we actually invest in our family membership. So our membership is paid for every single month just by having the benefits. That's huge in itself. Someone would invest at $149 one time just to get those benefits every month. So that's another great opportunity. So after we explain the value of the $149 investment, which again, we're excited that it's only $149. Again, make sure that comes through. We go into the next page, and the next page says building your business. Now, I don't necessarily say building your business. It's there for them to see, but I do say this in the goal. No time, no problem, because the number one objection folks that say, I don't have time. I really don't have a lot of time to do this. Well, look, great. No time, no problem. We have web presentations. So if I wasn't here today, let's say I had to be at work and I couldn't be here to do this presentation, there's a web presentation you could watch. There's a DVD you could watch. There's a luncheon you could go to. A professional overview would be done, and you could make a decision whether this membership would be for you or not. The same presentation I did would be done by someone who's very professional. There's evening business presentations for those who want to go out after work to take a look at what our services are all about, or even the opportunity. And the great thing about our business briefings is that they take place all across North America. And so if you know someone in Toronto, if you know someone in Honolulu, you just send them on out to see a presentation. They like what they see, and guess what? They can get back with you and get started. You weren't even there. So that's time leverage. We have third-party calls that will do a quick overview for your prospects. You say, look, just dial this number. I want you to check out this information. This same flip chart, of course, we can simply go through this flip book, which is what we're teaching right now. So again, it shows them that this is duplicable because it shows them that all they have to do is flip through the presentation like you did. You basically read everything, right? There was very few things that you added in, so it shows them that they could do this exact same thing. In-home presentation, perhaps they want to invite some of their family and friends over. Guess what? You can invite those people you care about to your home. So again, no time, no problem here. There are tools that we can use that will help to leverage your time. So once we share with our new prospect here that there's more than one way to grow their business, we simply flip over and show them our unbelievable compensation plan. And it says here, this is how you earn income. So we're going to make this simple, and this is how you're going to share this with your prospect. Keep it simplistic, because most prospects, upon their first time hearing this, it's overwhelming. It's too many numbers. How do you rank advanced at every level? They don't need to know all of that. So we're going to share with you real quickly how you can go through this particular slide and share with them that, look, there's basically 3 different ways we get paid. The first is a personal advance, and you get paid anywhere from $34 up to $252 per referral. This is huge. And you get to continue to rank advance based on the number of sales going from either you personally or you and your organization. And this is great because you get to dictate your own raise. You determine how fast you want to go, how slow you want to go, how much you want to make, or how little you want to make. It's completely up to you. You can actually go from the beginning level, junior associate, just for an example, up to associate by getting your first 5 customers within your first 30 days. Now you're making about $103 based on a $35.95 plan. Look at this, $103. So if you wanted to go out and make $500, that's about 5 customers. You need an extra $1,000, that's 10 customers. So you could dictate your own check. And the wonderful thing about this compensation plan is that it's really easy to understand. Okay, there's not percentages and points. And look, you're basically about $100 at the associate level on the $35.95 plan is what you get per referral. And you get to continue to move up to $138, $172, as you can see here. Look, this business is almost a hybrid business. That simply means that if you want to go out and offer this to a small business owner with a small business plan, or perhaps if you went and took the group school, which allows you to go and offer this as an employee benefit, you can do that as well. So you can make a ton of money, can be extremely lucrative just based on the personal advance alone. But that's not it. We also have the team override from $34 to $182. So here are the numbers in white. And this shows you how you can start to earn income off your team's success. And this is what I say to the prospect, because you want them to know that, look, you only benefit off of their success, not off of their failure. So it's no good just to introduce people, to recruit people. So for a quick example, if today you're a senior associate and I'm an associate in your team, that means that you're at 138, I'm at 103. You make $34 every time I make 103. Now, I'm excited because I got paid for referring a service that I enjoy anyway. You're excited because you got a team override for something you didn't do. That's the leverage we're talking about, okay? So again, and that can continue to increase as well. It's also cumulative, and so you can continue to make 34 plus 34 plus 34 plus 34 plus 44 if you're an executive today and I'm just getting started. Now, did you see what I did there? I'm always putting myself lower than my prospect. So we want to make sure that we let folks know in an example, let's say you were here and I was here. You put yourself lower than where the prospect is. And then lastly, we make a lifetime residual off of the book of business that we signed up one time. So this is for the life of those members keeping the service. We continue to get paid over, and look, I can't even stop smiling right now because it's the most amazing thing. Look, I started this business when I was 28 years old. I'm in my 40s now. And I'll still get paid off of the book of business I signed up when I was in my 20s for the life of those members. Here, LegalShield pays you a residual income. It just means a reoccurring income for something you did one time. The most impressive and the most gratifying income I've ever received. All right, so this next page is extremely important to your prospects. So even if they had questions, I would want to spend time on this because at this point, they have an opportunity to either just start the business if they see an opportunity for themselves or launch a business, and there is a difference. Because in their first 30 days, it's gonna be vitally important. Why? Because they actually, it says right here, they actually get advanced immediately $34 on each membership enrolled, okay? But number two, if they fast start qualify, and when they fast start qualify, an additional $34 advance on each membership enrolled at the junior associate level. What does that mean? Remember we talked about at the beginning, you can make anywhere from $34 up to $252? Well, you can make more than $34 on your first membership. How do you do that? Well, you get to advance to associate one of two ways. One is to actually go out and get 5 memberships. 5 memberships, those are 5 people who just want to use the services. Or you can go out and get 3 memberships and 1 junior associate. That means you recruit one person who decides, hey, look, I see an opportunity as well. I want to go out and market this to my family and friends. So that person becomes a junior associate like you're going to do. Okay, so they invest in $149. Of course, they're going to get the membership themselves. So it's just 2 additional memberships. Or simply just go out and get 5 memberships. That's how you do it. In your first 30 days, you're either going to get paid the $345, okay, or the $207, depending on how you do it. Either way, that person gets the check. They advance to the associate level. Now they're making $103 every single time they share the service. So we want to make sure that folks understand this. It's really simple to explain because it's right here in the diagram. Okay, so let them know that and say, look, you get to advance to the associate level and receive $103. I love that because they dictated their own raise. They dictate their own raise by going out and accomplishing this in their first 30 days. Okay, so make sure they do that. We want to make sure they get out to their basic training class right away. Let them know that. Once you get to your training class right away, that's going to help to really accelerate your learning curve and actually cut some of your learning curve where you don't have to spend as much time trying to figure this out because we're going to have trainers teach you exactly what to do and how to fast start qualify as well. And by the way, the 30-day fast start qualification period actually begins just 30 days after you go to your basic training class. And so that means that you attend a basic training class this week because I would suggest to everybody who's getting started, you want to take that basic training class as soon as possible. You don't want to wait 30 days to take it. But as soon as you take it, you have 30 days after that training class to go out and accomplish your fast start qualification of getting 5 memberships or 3 memberships and 1 associate. So congratulations on taking care of that and congratulations on getting that first check. Now the next slide It says additional rewards. And again, this is something that, we never know what people are attracted to. Some folks enjoy cars. Some folks could really care less about what they drive. Some folks love exotic vacations. Some folks just don't make a big deal out of taking vacations. So we at least mention this, and if you know your prospect, again, you can spend a little bit more time on it if you know they love cars, if you know they love vacationing. So for those associates who want more, we actually offer additional incentives. We have monthly bonuses, exotic trips, special contests, and promotions. So it's a lot more than what we're gonna go over here today. Just understand that we're actually under-promising and over-delivering with our company. In addition to the special contests and promotions, there's this social aspect that we don't talk about a lot, and it's really not in the flip book presentation, but this is a perfect place to put this in when you're speaking with your prospects, because a lot of people unfortunately have not been in an environment that's been encouraging. They've not been around positive people, and sometimes it makes them a little leery because they're so used to people saying, well, how do we know this is going to happen? What if it doesn't happen? In other words, most folks think about the glass being half empty instead of half full. And what's really encouraged me about being a part of this LegalShield family is this social aspect here. I can hang out on the beaches with those who are like-minded, who are positive thinkers, and go to big events where there are people who are encouraging you to be successful, encouraging you to become more, to have more, and to be able to give more. And it's been wonderful for me. I mean, my children have learned a lot through their, of course, their schools and their educational process and journey, but they've learned more by being in this environment, by being around these associations than they have in their four walls of their schools. Why? Because of the diversity of associations. They've experienced different cultures, different places. They would have never had that experience if it wasn't for LegalShield. So this social aspect is going to be huge. And there's some prospects that you'll be speaking with, and maybe the person you're sitting down with showing this flip book presentation, that they're saying, look, the money sounds great. And hey, look, I make good money. I make six figures. And hey, look, I'm already able to make it to my daughter's cheerleading practices, so that's cool. But you know what? I could use a more positive environment. I could use being around some people that are encouraging. And we'd be amazed. I think that you'd be amazed, because I found this to be the case, that there's several people that I've introduced to LegalShield that they say that this environment is more encouraging than their own immediate family. And this is important, again, to add in to our presentation, because some folks just want to feel included. Some people just want to feel like someone does have their back, that someone does want what's best for them and not jealous of them and trying to hold them back. This is an environment of abundance, not scarcity. So it's so important to share with them that we all come together and we grow together. And then next we say, where your business can take you. And this is important because many folks have stopped dreaming. It's important that this prospect that we're sitting with, that we allow them to dream a little bit. I find this too as I'm doing the presentation. You can see folks start to dream again. And I don't care if they're 18 or if they're 75 years old, folks can dream. And they can dream about things they like to do for their grandkids. They can dream about things they like to accomplish by the age of 30. So people want to dream. They've just talked themselves out of dreaming. And so, or maybe someone else has done that. And so this is our opportunity to help them dream again. So it says, look, we've already paid $1 billion to associates over the last decade. But it's not the $1 billion, it's what the people are able to do now. Okay, by the way, that's a lot of money. Okay, so, $1 billion just seems so overwhelming, especially when it comes from someone like me that worked at the mall. But hey, the facts are the facts. So it's not a question of whether people are making money. And the reason why this is so important, because some folks are thinking, I wonder if anybody's really making any money here. Well, look, they already paid out $1 billion to associates over the last decade. Thousands are earning over $50,000 a year. You have to ask yourself, what would you do with an extra $50,000 a year? Because you don't have to quit your job or your business to do this. This is an additional cash flow. Many are earning between $100,000 and $1 million per year. Another great aspect of LegalShield is that, look, we don't have to hype people up. People are tired of the get rich quick, so you don't want to come across like this is some get rich quick. You want folks to know, look, we have real people earning real income with our real opportunity, and you too can participate and be a part of this. Now on the next slide, I actually have the associate agreement ready. Just like we had the membership agreement ready, halfway through the flip book presentation. So now we're at the end, we're at the last slide, and it's time for them to fill out the associate agreement. So, I simply slide it down and say, look, here's our action steps. Step 1, become a member. Now, you've already done that, so congratulations on being a LegalShield member. All right, I'm excited for you. Step 2, to become an associate. And I know you see the value of starting your own business to make an additional cash flow for only the $149. Am I right in saying that? And they say yes. Or they say, well, it's got a couple of questions. And I said, sure. And so I'll address their concerns quickly. Or guess what you can do? Because you're brand new and you're just going through this flip book, you can let someone know that, hey, look, I'm about to go into this presentation and I'm unsure on how to answer questions. If they have questions, can I three-way into you? You can let an expert or one of your LegalShield executives know that you're about to do this presentation, and they'll try to be ready for you to answer questions from your prospect. But let's just say this associate, just for this example, says, hey, yeah, it makes sense to me. And so it's easy to start filling this out. Now, it's best, and it actually says this in writing, decide how you want to get paid, daily, weekly, or monthly. It actually gives you that tip right there. So I actually would say, listen, so how would you like to get paid? We actually can receive commissions by direct deposit, or we could actually get you, you can get checks monthly, however you decide to do. How would you like to get paid? So it gives them an opportunity to start to think about how they'd like to get paid, not, okay, let me look at this application here, okay? Unless there's someone who, like myself, it just made sense. I'm like, well, sign me up. It makes sense. And so if they're saying that, don't say, no, wait, you have to decide. Just go ahead and sign them up if that's what they want to do. So we simply say, okay, now we just need the rest of your information so that we can make sure that we're paying you. And so they start to fill out their information there. So that's real easy. That's for you and that new associate to fill out, okay? So, because you're going to put your information down as the associate signing them up. Now, step 3, 4, and 5 are just as important for you in terms of participation as it is for that new associate. So how does that work? Well, complete first step training online. You want to make sure you tell them exactly what they need to do to go online to complete that first step training. Because remember, we want them to launch their business, not just start their business. We want them to become successful. That's going to help them out and you out. It's mutually beneficial. So make sure that we encourage them to go to their first step training online, but also tell them how to do that. And you may even want to call them later and say, hey, did you get a chance to go online and complete that first step training? So again, that's your role and responsibility as a sponsor. Step 4, attend basic training, classroom and workshop. Again, it's important. This classroom training is important that you tell them where it is, okay, when it's going to be, and encourage them to go. And if it's in your local marketplace, it's good for you to go with them. That way you can sit next to them. Okay, afterwards they can ask questions. You're there for them. They feel more comfortable because they know you. So if you're in their local marketplace, go with them. All right, you want to make sure to get to the training class because, again, that's going to be essential for their success to learn from a qualified, appointed trainer who's already been successful. And lastly, step number 5, become Fast Start qualified. We want to make sure they receive maximum payment for their efforts. And in becoming Fast Start qualified, of course, we'll also make sure that they rank advanced as soon as possible so that the clock starts ticking as soon as they go to that classroom training. So we want to make sure that we're with them to help them to do exactly what you've just learned how to do, and that's go through this flip book. So congratulations on learning exactly what to do and how to go through this flip book presentation. Of course, we're going to encourage you to go back over this as many times as you like because, again, repetition is the key to all learning. I'm looking forward to celebrating your success with you and seeing you way over the top. Congratulations, and again, welcome to the LegalShield family.